All right, Amanda, spring is all about sunshine, and this week is National Work Zone Awareness Week, so think about that when you're out and about. The Alabama Law Enforcement Agency, along with others all across the nation, working to bring the number of work zone driving fatalities to zero. Joining us now is Sergeant Jeremy Burkett. What's some advice you have when people drive through a work zone?
Well, really be attentive to the speed. So, of course, if you're on the interstate, in most areas in the state of Alabama, the speed limit on interstates are 70 miles an hour. But as you approach that work zone, that speed is going to decrease depending on what type of zone it is. It may be a lane closure. They may be doing some bridge construction. So really pay attention to that speed limit. And this is the way we try to communicate this. For like you, hey, this newsroom, that's your office. For a patrolman, that patrol car is our office. For those construction zone workers, the side of the interstate, that's their office. So you're literally driving through their area where they work every day. So just try to think about it in those terms. Hey, would you want somebody driving through your office at 75, 80, 85 miles an hour whenever you're 3 or 4 foot away from them? Because that's where they are, and really what they're trying to do is make the road safer. I mean, we've even seen nationally where, like a bridge, hey, we want to make sure these bridges are maintained, because if they're not, things can happen, and when bad things happen to bridges, it can create a lot of issues. So I know we always kind of get a little frustrated when we see these construction zones because we're in a hurry, it's going to slow us down, but really patience. That's what we always talk about when we talk about these work zones, is pay attention to the speed limit, and really if there's anything in the vehicle that you feel like is going to distract you, put it down and focus, because you can easily drift over. And there may be times when you're on a roadway where you drift over and you drift back and there's nothing there. But in a work zone, there could be a worker standing there. There's human beings in that work zone, so it's really important for you to maintain that lane of travel.
Today is Wear Orange Day, which is why I'm wearing orange.
Yes, ma'am. Why
is it important for people to wear orange, to wear such a bright color and take note of the bright color?
Just because of the visibility. I mean, it's just what we're talking about. They've got billboards, they've got signs, and it's not necessarily a situation, and people have seen this, before you approach that construction zone, there's miles and miles of signs letting you know, hey, there's a work zone ahead, hey, there's a lane closure ahead, and we really try, when I say we in the public safety community, we really try to do everything we can to make sure everybody in that zone and everything's associated with that zone is visible, so people are able to see it and distinguish between where the work zone begins and where it ends.
A lot of work happening on our roadways this summer. A lot of people will be traveling up and down our state this summer, going to national parks, going to the beaches, going to lakes.
Yes, ma'am.
Getting into boats. You talked about driving safety. How important is that boating safety as well?
Well, it's really critical. We have, we're really early in the season, and it's just now beginning, but we have had some individuals lose their lives, and honestly, very unusual situations on Alabama's waterways this year. But it's so important, just what you're talking about, and that's one of the times that we really will encourage people when we're offering those boater basic safety courses that our actual troopers with the Alabama Law Enforcement Agencies, Marine Patrol troopers do. And we love for people to take advantage of that, because it's actually our troopers teaching the course. And then so if there's something you don't understand, if you want to be back brief, if you've got a question, then they can answer it for you. And one other good thing that I think just really needs to be brought out when we start talking about boater safety is the courses are taught at certain areas across the state. So they may actually teach it, if you're in the Wiregrass Lake Eufaula or Lake Gander, or if you're up in this area, so it may be a Lake Harding or Lake Martin. So they're going to not necessarily just teach the class, but they're going to talk about the specific
to that waterway.
Because
it's very different. If you're used to one lake and then you travel, let's say, to the beach, it's going to be a major transition.
That is 100% correct.
If you're used to being like on Lake Martin every weekend. How can people sign up for these classes? When's the next one?
So we've got them posted on our website. Of course, there's a press release that we've shared with the media, but you can go on www.alea.gov, go to our website, go to our press release page. You can click on a link there, and it's got the full schedule along with our social media platforms.
Now, I know whenever you're on here and we're talking about driving, some of the easiest tips to stay safe on the roadways, you always tell people wheel. Don't be distracted. Wear your seatbelt. When it comes to boating, what are some of your just go-to basic tips for boater safety?
That life jacket, personal flotation device. Regardless of the age, regardless of what you're doing, if you're on a boat, if you're in a vessel, have that life jacket on, have that personal flotation device on at all times.
It's almost like your seatbelt in the car, right?
It is absolutely like that.
When you get in your car, you put that seatbelt on. If you get on the boat,
Put that life jacket on.
you need to have it on.
Yes, ma'am.
Remind people again, those courses, aaliyah.gov, will they happen several times throughout the
Yes,
summer?
ma'am. Yes, ma'am. They will. They begin now, and they'll go through. And again, just continue to watch it, and we will try to update as we add additional courses. We will try to update it.
That's a good course if you are a brand new boat owner, or maybe a good refresher if you've had your boat for a few years and maybe
Especially if you may be going to a different body of water. Just what you said, hey, you're used to the coastline, or maybe you're used to a lake and now you're going to the coastline, totally different. It's worth it. It's absolutely worth the time.
All right, Sergeant Burkett, as always, thanks so much for joining us here on Alabama Live. We appreciate it.
Yes.